Oi, oi, ladies and gentlemen, and smizmars, what is going on today in the wonderful world of your life? Yeah? Well, that's awesome. If you didn't actually answer my question there, then it was probably a little awkward that I answered your answer, or rather responded to it. But, well, I don't really care. Awkwardness is all part of the job. Speaking of the job today is to kill all of our opponent's creatures with relatively cheap burn spells. We're going to be playing a deck I named Pew Pew because, well, we're shooting, little burn spells at our opponent's creatures, and thanks to Pestilent Spirit here, they've all got Death Touch, so a 1-mana Blazing Volley is effectively a Shatter the Sky. As long as nothing's indestructible, nothing survives. Although Tajik kind of shuts this down a little bit, I can just take him out first and then finish off the rest of the creatures, and between you and me, Tajik isn't really that present in the standard meta right now. Anyhow, aside from Burn Spells and Pestilent Spirit, I've got some more Menace with Labyrinth Raptor. I've got this guy here, Frill Scare Mentor, to put Menace on, I don't know, say a Krenko or a Legion Warboss. I've only got the one of though, because this isn't really a terribly Menace-heavy deck, and I don't know, I like him in here, I think. Especially considering he can buff up all my Menace creatures. But, yeah. Anyhow, 1 Legion Warboss and 2 Krankos, because that's what I've got in my collection. A couple of Knight of the Ebon Legion. There's a couple of early plays. Got a Nightmare Shepherd, because a lot of my creatures have a lot of cool abilities, and the fact that they're going to be 1/1s isn't that big an issue. I mean, he's a 2/2. Take off 1 power and 1 toughness. Not all that devastating for me, especially considering I can pump him and the rest of my Menaces up for only 2 mana. These guys obviously do work as 2/2s as well. Doom Whisper and Bontu on the high end over here. We've got Tentative Connection, which is just 1 red mana to gain control of any old creature, as long as I've got one of my, well, 8, kind of 9 Menace creatures, age 10 in play. And then 3 Spawn of Mayhem, because they are just nasty to deal with on turn 3. They're pretty solid. They, well, they'll eat a removal spell if the opponent's got one, just because you see a 4/4 flying trample on your 3rd turn, especially if you're on the draw. It's more than a little bit scary. It really presses the opponent quite nicely. And as far as lands go, got some dual lands, a couple Blood Crypts and a Temple I had in my collection for the Guild Gates, because I like to have both colors, and just 8 and 8 for those bad boy basics. Now that we've had a little bit of a look at the deck, let's go ahead and get into some matches. We're going to start out hopefully nice and easy and just regular play, waiting for the server classic. But not really. That's possibly the first time I've seen that, and wow. Found a match in record time there. Usain Bolt of matchmaking, this server. That must have been why we had to wait for it. It's just got such powerful matchmaking abilities. It took a second longer to queue up. Totally worth the wait though, as we jump right into this match against someone using Laris as their companion. I'm kind of tickling here. Starts to glow even if I just roll over his name with the cursor. Ooh, it's got a trophy. We'll make it do a spin for us. I like it. This is the only one that doesn't really yap at you if you click on it. You got the owl kind of comes up cawing. The fox shakes itself off. Maybe that's like the cat. Something kind of shakes itself off, and then there's another one that like, I don't know, like roars at you. Anyhow, could have Blazing Volley just a Flourishing Fox to deal with it while it's still small, but that didn't seem like that great an idea. I'm just going to take the damage because I know he's got a cycling card to pump up both his little foxes. Finding a land would be really ideal here, considering I kept a 2-lander. An interesting hand to say the least at that. And I've got the triple Sondish Pyro Helix, and I don't have a Pestilent Spirit to give any of these Death Touch, which bothers me a bit, but I'm sure I'll be fine. Or not. Either way, you know, we're gonna get through this. Cycles the healer. Fox gets just a little bit bigger, starts to flourish even more. He might also be digging for lands, as he's only got a couple of planes over there, and I'm sure he's probably running Boros cycling at the very least. Or maybe not. Finds yet another planes. Comes in for 5 with the Fox, getting bigger by the minute here. They grow up so fast. I think I'll just come in again with my Knight and plan to leave him up next turn with the ability. at the ready, because it does give him Death Touch, which would mean he could take down the Fox. Be a little bit of a hassle for me. There's the red for our opponent. Be a little bit of a hassle for me to mess around not getting to cast a spell on my turn, just with the hope of taking down the Fox by pumping this guy. But I don't know. Would be nice. Plays as Lurus. Can't play another Fox because he tapped all white for it. Blood Crypt. Not something I'm keen to shock in right now. And I will just pass the turn back to him. Anyway, 5 lands now for the opponent. He's got a couple of reds, so we can actually start using that half of his deck. Jump straight to combat, however. Zenith Flare looking rather lethal at this point. As I will be down to 5 after taking a hit from this Lurus. Or can block, but can I use his ability first? Hopefully, yeah, okay. Activate ability. Take down the Fox. You can recast the Fox, but only one of them. Opponent up to 21, I'm down to 5. Zenith Flare just straight up kills me right now. Not exact up, yep, there it is. Well, not a terribly auspicious start for this deck, but now that we've had our own arses handed to ourselves, but now that we've had our butts handed to us in a little casual match, let's go ahead and undauntedly jump into ranked. It's not like it's really going to be that big of an issue. Last video we used that Is It Good deck to rank up from Platinum Tier 4 to Platinum Tier 3, so the answer to the question is yes, it is quite good. And now, I'm going to figure out if this is any good. Spoiler alert, it usually is. It got me up to Platinum to begin with. I mean, not alone, I switch decks fairly frequently. But this is one that's definitely done well in the past, fairly consistently. And if I can draw the right kind of lands in the right kind of order in the right kind of time, then we'll be all good. 4-drop to the bottom as I'm looking for another land, considering the opening hand only had 2. On the play, it would not be good to run out of steam after the second turn. At least we've got the Labyrinth Raptor. That makes our Tentative Connection castable, but not something we really want to play for, well, like on turn 2. Be much better to have a bigger creature we could steal with it. I'll come in for 2. He can't block. Keep up a Shock and a Pyro Helix. Neither has Death Touch, but that's alright by me for the time being, as he doesn't have any big creatures up. Although, Death Touch not going to work against General Kudro of Dranith. He's indestructible now, because this General's Enforcer here. Not only that, but the General's Enforcer's gotten a little bigger himself. I think he's growing. So looking at 6 power on the opponent's side of the board. Yeah. I think for now, what's the play here? Actually, I will just cast the Pestilent Spirit. It's always nice to be able to cast it and then cast something else in the same turn, like Pestilent Spirit with Shock or Blazing Volley, just so that he doesn't get that window on his turn to Banishing Light it. But it's a risk I'm going to take this time, is stealing one of those creatures this early in the game, not terribly advantageous for us, and I'd rather up, yep, nope. Exiles the Pestilent Spirit. Not much worse than just putting it in the graveyard, though, is when another human enters the battlefield under his control. This guy. I'm going to clear out my graveyard anyway. Alright, so, play here is that I don't have enough red to take a creature, take this guy, leaving him vulnerable, and then Blazing Volley and shock him. So, given that, I think I do want to steal something, so I think I am going to take his General real quick, just to poke him a tad. Knock him down to 9, and I think I've just got to give it back. Probably should have used the pump ability there, since I couldn't do anything else. Ritual of Soot will be nice if he plays any more non-legendary humans, and if I get a land. It'd have to be untapped for sure, because I can't really afford to wait any more turns. Tajik coming in with haste and mentor. Another legendary human. Bye-bye to a card from my yard. And this is not looking good. I suppose maybe it would have been nice to Pyro Helix and shock that guy last turn. But I'm not so sure. This looks like lethal, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm just going to take it. That's good game, fella. Xaxis down to 0 for me. Opponent still in 9 life, a healthy hand size, and board presence. Not ideal, not really what I was looking to run into, but what can you do? Alright, in the hope of ending this one on a win, we're going to jump into one more match and see how we go. To tap specific lands. Oh, never mind. Alright. Another quickie match made. It's like Tinder over here, mate. Making matches left and right. This hand is pretty good. I definitely like what I'm seeing here. It'd be cool to find off the top a Labyrinth Raptor so that I could deal him some damage on turn 3 to get this guy down with a Spectacle cost. If not, wait until turn 4 will work, assuming I get the land I need for it. This guy is running something. I've seen this guy before. Saw Ginger Brute in a green red. So I guess a gruel aggro deck. Not terribly grueling though. Ginger Brute's up to a 3-3. That's kind of nice for him. Not as nice for me though. I think before it gets any bigger, I'm just going to whoop, wrong card, Lava Coil it. This one doesn't really need Death Touch to be effective, as 4 damage for 2 mana is pretty sweet. Exiles the creature as well, so there's no chance of him getting back. Not that that would necessarily be an issue, I suppose. He doesn't have Aluris as a companion. He could always have 1 or 2 in his deck. Maybe he just didn't quite meet the companion requirement. I'll let that come in tapped and pass turn to our opponent here. Steel Overseer, pretty solid card. Puts a 1/1 counter on each artifact creature, so I think I'm going to shock it now. If I try to Pyro Helix both of them, he could tap it in response. And I could Pyro Helix in response to him tapping it, but there's no guarantee he would do that, and I in fact think he probably wouldn't, so I think it's best for me just to get it out of the way there. Turn 4, full price Spawn of Mayhem, 4 mana for a 4/4 Flying Trample, still not really inconvenient whatsoever. Quite the animation that guy has, makes a big show of coming into play. Maybe a little full of himself, but probably deservedly so if I'm being completely honest. He is a very solid card. I'm going to give him Menace here, I think. Not that I'm afraid of flyers from this guy's deck, but well, now he's got the potential to grow a little bit bigger and stronger like he's been eating his Wheaties. I don't think I'd take his Ginger Brute yet. It's only a 3/3 and he's still at 19 life, so it wouldn't really be that advantageous for me. Not the optimal play, so I'm going to leave up a Chandra's Pyro Helix after I knock him down to 15 with the Spawn of Mayhem. Pepperburn over here, not sure what that's supposed to mean, and he might not be sure what the play is here, but seems to have figured out an answer for himself. Ginger Brute gets a little bit slippery here. Can be blocked except by creatures with haste this turn. Knocks me down to 11. He still hasn't found any more lands, and I'm feeling kind of bad for him as I don't believe I've missed a land drop this game, even though I kept a 2 land at a start. Land 6 for me is our opponent on 14 life and only 2 lands. Looking a little... I don't know. Not necessarily pitiful, but something over there. Alright. Anyhow, only a 2/2 the Ginger Brute. No longer a 3/3. But, nevertheless, Spawn of Mayhem got a counter because I'm at 10 or less life. And, well, opponent down to 4. What's he got? Mechagodzilla, the weapon. That is a nice card. Now, hold on here. Ginger Brute, was a 3-3 for the opponent there, with 2 planes in play, right? And when I took the Ginger Boot, well, okay, I guess I didn't gain control of the enchantment. So he only got +1/+1 from all the glitters for the enchantment that my opponent controlled. Anyway, this guy did not get reached, so he's not terribly scary. But I'll take him anyway just to sure up that I'm beating my opponent, and he says that's enough. There's finally a win, creeping up in the Platinum Tier 3 world. Oh yeah, I had fun in the match, that was a good one. Anyway, now's the time, as good a time as any, to say, drop a sub on this channel, and not a sandwich from Subway or Quiznos or any of the other Subway sandwich shops. In fact, subscribe to the channel if you're feeling like it. If not, what the heck, do it anyway. It takes you half a second. Don't forget to like the video. Drop a comment if you like the deck. Give me some tips for decks you want to see played in the future. Maybe if you've run a variation of this deck, let me know. Or just spam W's or F's or something in the chat for the YouTube algorithm. That's a phrase I've been hearing a lot more lately, and I figured I might as well use it myself so that I seem like a more legitimate YouTuber. Anyway, I'll let you glance at this captivating gyre real quick as I say goodbye. Signing off.